Do you ever feel like you're so totally connected to a narcissist, even when they're gone, that you just can't forget about them? It feels like you're almost physically drawn to them, even when you know better logically. Well, that might be because of a concept we're going to call soul ties. So today at queenbeing.com, we're going to talk about what a soul tie is, how you got there, and how to get out of it. All right, so let's get started. My name's Angie Atkinson, and on this channel I offer free daily video coaching to help you discover, understand, and overcome narcissistic abuse in toxic relationships. I like to call it toxic relationship rehab. Does that sound good to you? If so, hit that subscribe button and let's get going. What are soul ties, and why do you feel like you have one with the narcissist? And what can you do to break them? So if you look up soul ties on the internet, the definition is varied. Some people say it's related to sex. And if you've had sex with a person, you have a soul tie with the person. Some people say it's related to family ties. To put it really simply, a soul tie is simply a connection between your soul and the soul of another person. They are intimate bonds that tie you to another human being. Regardless of what it is, what it means is that you feel connected to that person. Today we're going to talk about what you can do to let go of those feelings. So here's the thing. Soul ties are created by dopamine. When we have a sexual experience or a positive experience of some kind with another person, our brain produces dopamine, which is the same chemical that feeds addiction. Drug addiction, gambling addiction, sex addiction, chocolate cravings, all of that. Dopamine is basically the feel-good chemical in the brain. It is a neurotransmitter, and it plays a pretty big role in our lives, both positive and negative. See, our bodies don't really care if it's cocaine or it's a cupcake or it's sex. Dopamine will be produced, and we will be bound to that person or thing. When we're talking about a narcissist, they kind of become our drug of choice. It's also called enmeshment. So it is an unhealthy enmeshment of souls, of spirits, right? Of people, of individuals. And that's why when you leave a narcissist, a lot of times you slip up and you go back for a while. That's why it's so hard to do it. That's why you have to do it sometimes many times. I know even when I left my narcissist, I went back at least once to experience all of that one more time. It was a bad choice, but I don't regret it because it's in the past. And you shouldn't either. You're human, and if it happened, it happened. Keep going. Like someone said in my chat this morning, it's not important that you fell off the wagon, it's important that you get back on. In fact, this is exactly why I suggest that people really dig into their self-development and their own personal growth after they go through a narcissistic relationship. Because if we aren't in the place where we are spiritually, emotionally, physically, mentally strong, we really aren't in a place to resist a narcissist or any sort of addiction, right? When we can be in control of ourselves and we can handle things in our lives because we're healthy and we have it all together upstairs and here, we can't be violated because we know we deserve better than that. We know how to set boundaries, and we have set them very specifically and very clearly, and we don't let people hurt us because we don't allow them to cross our boundaries. At that time, we become no longer available for abuse. Does that make any sense? When you do not allow people to abuse you in small ways, they cannot abuse you in bigger ways. It's all about finding unconditional self-love, unconditional self-acceptance. It's just being okay with who you are in this moment, so much so that you tolerate nothing less than what you deserve. You don't hold anyone else responsible for your life. In fact, you know that you have a lot to do with creation and changing the way that your life looks from here on out. You trust yourself. You protect your energy. You make sure you intentionally choose your vibrations. You intentionally choose how to think and feel. It's really all about being yourself and being totally fine with who yourself is. Regardless of whether you call it a soul tie or enmeshment or whatever, there are lots of things that you can do to break that connection between you and the narcissist. One of the easiest things is to get rid of everything in your home that reminds you of the narcissist, or change it if you can't get rid of it. If you can't afford to buy a new couch, put a new slipcover on the couch and move it to the other side of the room. You see, if you want to change the way you feel, you have to change the energy of yourself and your environment. So you can either give the narcissist all their crap back, or you can give it away to charity or whatever. Don't deliver it yourself if you do decide to give it back. Make sure you put it through a third party. And the same thing for any gifts they've given you. Some people like to use a practice called smudging, where they burn a stick of sage and they bring it around their house, and they light special candles, or they want to cleanse their home. I think one of the best, most simple things you can do is clean your house from top to bottom. Get rid of everything the narcissist has given you or left in your house. Rearrange the rooms. Change something. Go so far as to paint something. Take back your house just like you're going to take back your life. Or if you're moving into a new place, same deal. Avoid taking anything that you don't need with you that came from the narcissist. And if we're talking about furniture, go to the Goodwill and find you some furniture to get you through if you can't afford a big, expensive buy. I once furnished an entire basement that was a really nice bar basement with couches and bar stools and all this, plus a desk, plus another couple of couches for bedrooms for less than $400. And it was quite impressive. That included a $75 delivery fee, which came, which I felt really excited about. So if you're cheap or you're broke, check out the Salvation Army or the Goodwill for furniture. It could be worth your trouble. One of the best things that I have found, one of the most effective ways, and I talk about this all the time, is to write a letter. So write a letter to the narcissist, say everything that's on your mind. Say all the things that you miss about them. Say all the things they did to hurt you. Say all the reasons you're angry. Say all the reasons you're in pain. And at the end of the letter, I want you to say, and now I'm forgiving you for myself, not for you, because I deserve to live without that toxic energy in my life. And I'm releasing you. Wrap it up. Don't actually send the letter. I didn't need to send the letter. Once I wrote the letter, it was enough for me. I found that when burning the letter, I felt much relief. Some people say that they throw it down the river. If you do that, make sure you use biodegradable paper. Some people like to bury it in the ground, so I don't really recommend that as much. Some people suggested that they tied it to a balloon and released it into the world. I don't care how you do it. Whatever you do, write the letter, get it out of your soul, and get rid of it. I find that to be very effective. And if you do so, handwrite it if you can. If you're not capable because you have carpal tunnel or whatever, fine, but if you can handwrite it. That'll be really helpful for you as you move forward. There are lots of other things you can do if you work with a professional, like neuro-linguistic programming or NLP, massage of various types, tapping. There are different kinds of tapping you can do. Lots of different things. Get therapy, etc., etc. I think it's important to allow the feelings to come, because when we're in the middle of a relationship with a narcissist, a lot of times we shove our feelings down really far and we don't feel them for a long time. So let the feelings come first. Feel them, allow them to pass, work through them. But when you're ready to move forward, you must make an intentional choice, whatever that is. Some people like to do a little ceremony where they, have a physical piece of string and maybe they tie it between two candles and chop it. One candle represents you, one represents the narcissist. Some people like to do a prayer. I've seen some people, they have a whole prayer contract, a self-contract kind of thing, and they read this prayer out loud and they really mean it, and it helps them to release. Whatever works for you in your particular life. Personally, I'm a really logical person, which is shocking to me, but I am. The idea for the letter, that was how I personally did it. I didn't have any support, but what I did is I literally kind of screamed out to the universe or God or whatever, how do I stop this? I'm so angry. My life is so much better now, and I'm so angry. I don't want to feel this way anymore. And I swear to you, it felt like somebody whispered in my ear, you have to forgive him. And I was like, what? I'm not going to forgive him. But I did, and it worked. If you're experiencing that flow of emotion, those behaviors, those negative feelings from your relationship, and you're already out, it's time for you to start to release those soul ties. Cut them, let go of them. However you want to look at it, it's time for those soul ties to be broken. How are you going to do that? Our egos really have a hard time processing the idea that we have been with a narcissist when we thought they were A, B, and C, and they turned out to be X, Y, and Z. We don't understand why they won't love us. We don't understand why they won't be the person they promised us in the first place. In fact, we find it a lot easier to accept the idea that there's something wrong with us, and we go about trying to change ourselves. Have you been there? Regardless of how you choose to do it, it's time for you to break the soul ties, to understand that you're not the crazy one. You're not the person who's done something wrong here. It's time for you to take back your life, take back your home, take back your soul. This brings me to the question of the day. And the question of the day is, have you been there? Have you had the feeling of being soul tied to someone? And if so, what did you do to release it? Or how do you plan to release it? Share your thoughts and your experiences in the comment section below, and let's talk about this. I think it's a serious topic, and I know a lot of people were specifically interested in it. So please, let's talk about it. All right, that's all I've got for you right now. Thank you so much for being a part of my life, and a part of my day, and thank you for letting me be a part of yours. It really does mean a lot to me. I'll see you soon. It's my mission to teach others what I know to be true. You really can create the life you want. Take care of your body, take care of your soul, nurture the real you, and introduce him or her to the world. Be comfortable in your own skin and in your place in this world. Take your spot, take it now, and the universe will take its cue from you. You feel me? If so, subscribe to my channel. Let's get it done together.